Welcome.
Thank you.
Come and take a seat.
Thank you. This is beautiful.
I love this. The weather, everything, the scenery has come
it's
together. So hello dreamers and thinkers, and welcome to another episode of Undone. On today's episode, I'm joined by Nyachan. You are a powerhouse. You are the CEO of NAS Recovery Center, which is an AOD rehabilitation center. We're going to talk about that. You're a mom, you're a community leader, you do so much. But wait, before we get into all the serious stuff, unpopular opinions. Did you prepare your unpopular opinion? I love this because it lets me know how unhinged my guests are. I just want to know if we're equally yoked.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. Unpopular opinions. I did prepare some. I have so many. I am controversial.
Give us your top pick.
But,
and then we'll see.
But you know what? For the sake of what we're going to talk about, an unpopular opinion is that we think, right? We do a lot of talking on mental health.
Yes.
A lot of talking. And I'm just like, guys, we got to stop talking and start doing.
Yes.
We got to start doing.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go to conference where there's actually talk about what people do to look after their mental health and prevent, I guess, illnesses and death, because we got to do. So
I feel
enough talking, and let's start doing. Let's start having places that people are actually healing.
Yeah. I recently had a conversation with a friend about that, because I was like, I feel like we have enough research on the African Australian community at the moment that there should be more initiatives coming out. Like, we know the problem, we know what we're saying is the problem. Can we start actually working? And then we can do the next set of research and see, okay, how can we improve on and what can we add to that? But I'm like, guys, we need to start doing.
We need to start doing.
Agree.
We have done enough awareness, and it's really good that we are having open communication, a dialogue about mental health. Yeah. But we need to start talking about how to prevent mental illness.
Yes.
So they're two different things.
Yes, they are. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, mine was lighthearted.
I have another one. Don't worry. I can match the energy.
Okay, I like that you went deep.
I can match the energy.
My lighthearted one was, after a certain age, milk stops being a beverage you drink and it just becomes an ingredient. Like, at my age, I'm 26. What am I doing with a glass of milk? Like,
calcium?
No, there are other ways.
Hey, I like my cup of tea with milk, okay?
No, you can have it with milk. I mean, like, do you drink a whole, like, do you just get home, you're like, wow, I just need a cold glass of milk?
No.
See?
Yeah, no.
Exactly.
I'm with you there.
So
no,
I just feel like at some point,
maybe in a refugee camp where there was nothing else to drink, maybe I'll drink that. But it's not my first go-to.
Exactly.
I feel I have other few options.
That's what I'm saying. There are other options. Why are we on milk? So I guess if you want to tell the people, so I listed like the things that you do and I guess the titles that you hold, but how would you describe yourself in 3 words outside of those things?
Oh, outside of those things. I really thought about this when I was coming, like you don't get to reflect all the time, but how do you describe yourself?
Yeah.
For me, as you say, I'm a lot of things, but to be honest, I bring it down to, if I could bring it down to just one, it would be I'm innovative.
Yes.
I'm innovative that I am, no matter what you throw my way, I'll make it work. Also, no matter what's happening to you, I'll try to see the best of it.
Yeah.
So I try to have this innovative thinking in all situations.
Yeah.
And very solutions focused in what I do, people I interact with, my life, my environment. And so just to add 2 more, resilience and compassion.
Oh, I love
compassion. And I guess those 3 values really are the driving force behind everything I do, both professionally and as a person and as a mother.
I was going to say, I feel like those words make sense. Like hearing you use those words, I see that thread in like everything that you do.
Yeah.
I love that. I guess kind of take us on the journey. And I'm sure the themes will come up, like the 3 words you just used are going to come up, of how we got to you starting NAS Recovery Center and like what it is and just, like how did we get to you creating this beautiful healing space and center and health service?
Yeah. Oh, thank you for asking that. I would say it's definitely those values. So
Yeah.
my value, my compassion, I've always had the desire to help or be helpful or
Yeah.
make a difference, positive difference. And so even if I didn't start NAS, I was going to do something that's going to help people one way or the
Yeah.
other. It's just naturally something that it's a driving force that has always been with me since I was young. My mom used to say that when I was little, I would like engage in imaginative play where
Yeah.
I would, but when I do that, it was that I was always the carer. So it's always a play where I'm
Yeah.
helping sick person
Yeah.
or I'm helping a baby. Like I've always played the role of the helper,
Yeah.
even in my imaginative play as a young
Yeah.
person. So it's always been that. So that's how it now started. Like I wanted to really be part of the solution. And so I thought, well, I've got the skills, I've got the passion. It's in me to want or have the desire to make a difference. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, why
You
not?
make
And
that
so-
sound easy though. Like I like that answer.
I mean,
That's
I did-
polished, but
I
let's
know,
get
yeah. I mean, I did have some challenges, but when you're doing something within your passion
Yeah.
and you really like bring it back to your values,
Yeah.
it's to me, it's a walk in the park. Like
Yeah.
I said, it's either I did NAS or I did something else.
Yeah.
Now, when I was in year 10, I had options to do my placement anywhere.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to do in the hospital. All my friends went to different retail fun things.
Yeah. And yet you want to do
I
fun
was like,
things.
I went to a hospital. I worked with a private hospital and I took my role as a student placement so serious that I
love
got
it.
awarded. I took it so serious. I got there, I was like, all right, how do I help the sick people?
Yeah.
And I would sit beside elderly or people who are sick or going through surgery, holding their hand. I was
That's so
young, It
beautiful,
was my
yeah.
first time even doing work in
Yeah.
general. And I got awarded for like the best student on placement because I took my role so serious.
No
like
way.
I was like one of the staff. I'm
Yeah.
helping, I'm everywhere. Like I'll be like to the nurses and support workers, what can I do next? And they'll be like, oh, can you take this to the lady who's sick? Or can you go feed her? Or can you do this?
Yeah.
And I just fell at home. So when I finished year 12, I was like, I want to work in caring, but I didn't get really good enter score to make it to nursing.
Okay.
And the only university that was like, oh, you can do nursing was like Swinburne, which was like really far from where
Yeah.
I live. Like I remember taking my friend. My friend did her bachelor there, but it was so far because you have to catch a train and all this.
Yeah.
So I was like, I still want to do nursing, but is there like another pathway?
Mm-hmm.
And so then I went and did aged care and I loved it. Love
yes.
hearing the stories of these wonderful veterans who have like done so much in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
I would sit there and I'd be like, can you tell me how to have a good relationship or how to be a good person?
That's where you get all the good advice from.
Really good advice, And so I realized this is just me. Like I always feel most comfortable. And so when you say you make it sound so easy, it is really easy if you align both your, I guess, your dream, to be a better person or whatever, with your values
Yeah.
to make a difference, with skills, it
Yeah.
becomes easy.
Yeah.
Like obviously there's challenges, but yeah.
It makes it easier to go through those challenges.
And then you wake up and you're like, but I like doing this, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna push through. I'm gonna weather through. I'm gonna study hard. I'm gonna stay up late and submit that assignment because I'm doing it because I'm doing something that I like.
Yeah.
So it became easy, but that's really the core why NAS was started, was because I have the desire to make a positive difference.
Yeah.
And so I said, if I've got the skills and the time, I will
You'll
play
do
my
it.
part in
Yeah.
providing, I guess, culturally aligned services that meets the needs of our community. Yeah. And so, yeah.
That's how I got
That's how we
there.
got there. We're still going there. It's still growing and it's still
100%. I'm like, I
that's how
cannot
it
wait
started.
for you to have multiple centers. Like, we need one on the other side of town. We need one interstate. I'm ready.
And I need everybody.
Yeah.
It's never going to just be me. It's going to be, it's our goal. I know many young people who are like, I want to do that too. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm just literally just a vessel for everybody else's dreams. And hopefully we can all join in. And I don't know, there could be another recovery center. It doesn't have to be called NAS. Like,
Yeah.
just,
As long as
it's blank.
Yeah.
There's room for all of
Like,
us.
let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you do a bachelor's in social work today?
yeah.
Or was it the master's?
I did. So first I did a diploma. I started with a diploma in health science. So I did a diploma of health science. Then I went and did a bachelor in community mental health and drug and alcohol. So combined doing
yeah.
diagnosis. And then I went and did my master's in mental health so that I can a little bit specialize in mental health because I realized that both mental health and AOD, they intersect.
Yeah.
So one can influence one another.
100%,
So but I know that AOD has, mental health has much more severe consequences if not treated properly or
Yeah.
if not supported properly. So I'd rather be specialist in that because then I can prevent severe substance use because people use substances to numb something.
Exactly.
A lot of time it's a mental health challenge of some sort or trauma of some sort or you know, abuse of some sort. So if I have the skills, the strategies to help someone manage their mental health, then I can kind of like, you know, prevent severe substance use.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yes, I did a bachelor in that, and then worked in rehabs services, both adults and youth, just to, I guess, learn. First was to get my skills up, but it was good to see the gap in real life.
Yeah,
Like,
I was gonna say you
be
need
like,
on the ground knowledge.
on the
Everything's
ground
theory
knowledge.
until you get there and you're like, oh, this is what the textbooks were saying, and this is what you're seeing in reality.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I did that, and then I was like, oh, now it's time to go and do my own thing.
Yeah.
And so
I'm glad. I just wanted to highlight that part of your story only because, so working in high schools, I think like young people often have an idea and a story of how they want it to work out, and sometimes due to circumstances outside of their own control, they don't always get the opportunity to like do it the ideal way that they wanted. And so like I love that for you it wasn't maybe like going straight into doing a bachelor's and then
so many pathways. So many pathways. And my story could, like I said, I didn't get a good entrance score. And look where I am now. So a lot of time that's why I say I'm an innovator. Like that's how I describe myself. You work with what you have, with what you're able to. Like you don't, like sometimes with young people or us in general, we can get fixated in our dream and goes, I need to achieve it this particular way. And if I don't achieve it that way, then I fail. But a lot of times you just have to be flexible. Okay, maybe I wanted to be a dancer, right? I love dancing. Maybe I wanted to be a dancer, but maybe maybe I'm a bit too old and you know don't have the time for it. But maybe I can be a coach for dancing. Maybe I can coach little children. So still I'm involving what I like, but just differently. So a lot of time we just have to find other ways around our dreams and not just be so focused on I need to achieve it this particular way. And if I don't achieve it that way, then that dream is dead. No, there's so many other ways. And so I wanted to obviously help people and couldn't make it to nursing. So I said I'll do a diploma, and that diploma was a pathway to bachelor, and bachelor was a pathway to master's. And now if I want to do my PhD, it's there if I wanted to. So it's like it doesn't have to be the traditional way. I'm not the traditional, you know, high entrance school. You know, I would have loved
high achieving all my life, like
I was never that. You know, like I was good at school, but obviously English being my second language, I didn't do my primary schooling here. I came straight from refugee camp and went straight to grade 8. So I missed a lot of that. So I wasn't really good at writing or wasn't really good at understanding math. I didn't have tutors at home. We didn't have resources for me to have a tutor. And so I couldn't get the enter score, though I worked hard enough. And I think that's why sometimes we have to give ourselves grace. If you didn't have the resources, it's not you who's failing, it's things around you.
Circumstances.
So it's not that I was a poor student. I was just a student that just didn't have the resources that my other counterparts did have. And so I accept that and I understand and I move on.
That is a beautiful way to frame it. And it shows your resilience, like you were talking about. Like you're just like, okay, cool, what's another way around this? Like this doesn't stop me.
It doesn't. Africans or black people or black women, the most resilient.
Resilient.
Have like the highest resilience.
We have to anything.
We have to be proud of that. We have to own it and actually just realize that we can conquer anything. If we wanted to.
I wanted to. You had kind of touched on it, but I guess more specifically, what was the need that you saw in the African Australian community specifically that you feel NAS recovery answers?
That's right.
Like, what is the question or the problem that you feel you guys are the solution to?
That's right. So many issues. First of all, we know that post-migration and pre-migration have, you know, are traumatic. You talked about that in one of your podcasts, and I love that. You know, moving by force or not by choice is even more traumatic than to come to a country where it's a different language, different food, it's a different set of things, different neighborhood. Again, traumatic, you know. And so our people have not only evidence show that, but we have higher chances of experiencing psychological distress, experiencing isolation and loneliness, experiencing depression and anxiety, you know, fear, you know, not getting the things we want. You know, we're coming here for a better life, but we realize it's not that easy to have a better life. You have to work. And even when you want to work, the systems that works against that.
Works against
so again, it corners you even more. And so to now know that we have a higher percentage of experiencing these issues plus the set of issues we come as we migrate in this country, yet there's no services for us that are tailored to meet our values, to meet our beliefs, our practices, and to acknowledge that combination of both what Australia has to offer and what we bring as people from a different continent or a different country can work together for greater good. I was like, that's not fair. That's not fair. And so when I worked in rehabs, there was hardly anyone coming through. And when they come through, it would be every now and then through division programs. You know, they're being diverted to the program. And they don't do so well because, again, there's no cultural representation and it's expectation. So it's like, if you don't tick X, Y, and Z, you have to go back to prison. And so people come in with this so much resentment because not only they don't like the place, not only they're not being understood, the challenges are not being recognized, but they're also being forced. So they don't do well.
They want to,
Yeah, so I was like, something is not right. I did my research and realized there's not many services like us at all. There's early intervention programs, which is great, but there's no
intervention didn't intervene.
It's not intervening, okay?
Right? Like, now what?
Intervening. It's like, drugs are dangerous. Okay, how do I not take them? And what do I do to ensure I take them safely or don't take them at all? Or if I choose to take them, which one do I need to watch out? There wasn't that. It was like, don't take drugs.
It's like,
but they're there.
That doesn't mean people aren't taking the drugs.
Exactly.
Let's deal with the situation at hand.
Exactly. So I thought we need not only one of our own, but a program that understands what's important to us as people, what challenges do we face, and how do we prefer them to be addressed. We're very solution focused. We don't want to dwell on the past. We left the past behind. That's why we're here. We want a new beginning. So we don't want to be sitting in the room and be like, want to talk about our traumas when we're not ready. And so we want a program that's like, with us, you come in and it could be anything. Talk about whatever it is, but we're definitely not going to dwell on your past if you don't want to. It could just be focused. If you're not ready to launch into therapy right now, but you just want to make sure you have a roof over your head, you want to get a job, and which, by the way, these things can actually act as prevention in the end.
I was going to say.
So if that's what you want to focus on, that's good enough. But sometimes the Western model is like, no, we need to unpack this. Hang on.
Let's start with your childhood.
Like, can we unpack this? Like, I know you want a job, but I need to do 6 more sessions about why. It's like, no. Like, that doesn't really...
I don't care right now. Right now, I need food on the table and a roof over my head.
Exactly. I've got 8 children to feed. Can we, just focus on that for a moment?
Yeah.
And so we need a program that aligns culturally with what is important to us. That's the core, and that's what NAS is about. So it's not only about filling the gap that we are underrepresented, underserviced, both from diversion programs to mental health services, to rehabilitation, actual physical buildings for us to actually check in when we
need help.
And I need help. But to also just have a program that is for us and by us. So NAS Recovery Center is for the community and by the community.
Yes, I love them. And I think it shows, and with the success that you've had in terms of just, I think if nothing else, the level of visibility and people being able to see that just kind of starts getting the idea planted in people's heads. There are people who probably don't even know what an AOD center would be needed. It's like, okay, now they're Googling and they're like, oh, okay.
What's an AOD?
So,
And what type of help can I get there? Because, as you know, there's so many misconceptions. So many. Especially when it comes to mental health and AOD. So obviously, AOD is, you're westernized, you're being silly. You should just simply stop taking it. You don't want to, when you take it. And then mental health is like, maybe it's a curse. Maybe you're like gone against your family wishes. Maybe you're not following your religion. That's why you're like that. Or maybe that, you're being weak. You're being weak. Just snap out of depression. Get up and go to work. Have a shower.
Like, just do it.
But like the person's literally glued.
And they're like, I cannot.
I cannot get up. I cannot find joy. And it's like, why not? You got roof over your head.
You should be so grateful for so much. You're not back home.
Look at your cousins back home.
Exactly.
It's like, forget my cousins.
Okay, that's fantastic, but I'm not happy here. So what do we do about that?
I'm not happy. Leave my cousins out of this.
Honestly.
Tell me how I can find joy. Can you help me?
Can you help me find
compassion?
it? Yeah.
Can you care? Can you
Yeah.
just, like, not compare me? Because I'm not like, I don't even
Yeah.
want to be in this position. Like, no one just want to be in depression.
No.
Like, it's like the worst experience ever.
Yeah.
So if people could just have a will and snap out of their wood, so clearly
Yeah.
it's a misconception because, and we have those approaches and those misconceptions and ideas in our mind. It also clouds the way we support people.
Yes.
You know, as
Yeah.
even as families, you know, it's like you try once, you're like, that's it.
We
I
try to help them. They
I
don't
knew
want to.
you
Yeah.
were weak. I knew you weren't going to do this.
How did you not achieve it with all the help that you
We
had?
all the
We
help
were
I've
here.
given you. I was
We did
here.
family meetings.
Yes, exactly. I took you to that appointment and then you failed.
Yeah.
Or you did say you would change, but you didn't change. You're lying.
Yeah.
So it's like because we are going in with this projection that it's a failure. So then you think even they're not going to recover.
Yeah.
You know, and so we don't give people that. And it really undermines the fact that people do recover,
Yeah.
can recover. It is rewarding. It is possible. And it just needs patience. You know?
Yeah.
It needs patience. It needs compassion, you know.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I did a workshop recently.
Mm.
It was so interesting. I was like, let's start off something like to get you guys engaging and lighthearted. And so I kind of had them all stand in the middle of the room and I was like, go this side if you agree and go this side if you disagree with the statement. And I think, so the workshop was on AOD.
Nice.
And one of the questions was like, if you think some people like who are addicted.
Yeah.
And 75% of the room.
Oh, you just did a whole research.
And I was like, oh.
This is what you've been caring about. So imagine.
Yeah.
Imagine.
And then I was like, and okay, if you think people's inability to like recover or like if you think it's up to them and it's part of their own like free like strength like inner will kind of thing. And again, most of the room agreed and I was like, okay, this is interesting because it's actually not black and white, like it's nuanced. It's about first of all we need to acknowledge that this is an actual disease that someone has had, like they need help, they need the support. Yes, to a certain extent someone has to want to, but then they need to have
motivation, but there has to be conducive to the change they want to achieve.
They need to have the support, they need to have the resources. I was like, yes. And it was so difficult because I was trying not to react in the moment. I was like,
but this is good. Those spaces are so important because then you can like challenge it.
Yes.
And they can walk away with a different perception and different understanding, and that changes lives when you can actually give people opportunity to express their views as they are.
Yes.
But also challenge them in a safe space. So what you did there is amazing. Are we role modeling what it looks like to have a good mental health?
Exactly.
Are we a community that prioritizes mental health?
Yeah.
Do we have a culture that actually appreciates mental health?
Yeah.
How are we having these conversations about mental health, but we leave and we're doing completely opposite? Or 75% of us are going to the other side of the room saying it's a weakness. So it's like we're obviously like
there's a disconnect.
There's
between
a disconnect.
The level of knowledge
there's
that's
a whole
out there
disconnect.
and how that's
we're
translating.
interested in the idea of mental health, but are we really interested in addressing what it is to prevent illness?
I love that question.
It's becoming so aesthetic. Mental health.
Mental health.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, while we're on the topic of aesthetic,
see, I feel
like it flows well.
Yeah.
So the kind of work that you do, first of all, the kinds of people who are attracted to that kind of work usually throw their whole selves into it. Like you are passionate about it, you love it. But it's also quite heavy and can be like quite traumatic to an extent to be able to, like to see people who you can relate to or who you can see family members and loved ones in going through these things. So I guess what kind of self-care buzzword self-care.
I love it.
Self-care and mental health and wellness practices have you implemented to be able to still effectively show up as a mental health practitioner, as a CEO, as a mom, as a woman, like
that's really
all of it.
Yeah. You know, it's good that you asked that because it gives me opportunity to reflect, do I really do it well? And I can say that sometimes I do it well, but sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm not okay. Sometimes I'm overwhelmed. Sometimes I'm not getting out of bed because it's too much. Because this is personal. You know, working in the community is very personal. It's someone you know, it's somebody it could be your family. You know, it could be your cousins, it could be your neighbor, it could be a church member. Like working so close to our people in the role that I'm doing, it is exhausting. Because there's both wins and losses.
Yeah.
You know, we have helped people that have changed their lives around, but we also had people that we just didn't catch, that either
Yeah.
lost their lives,
Mm.
you know, that either their families are just distorted. And I feel like, what can I do? You
Yeah.
know? And so, as much as the program is so ambitious and it's there because of the stigma, because of the that we're working with a bigger system and there's lack of resources, there's certain things we can't address straight away.
Yeah.
And a lot of time it means there's some losses we encounter. And so, as a CEO, I have to really be mindful of my mental health. I have to do all the little things that I can to help me. And so it may look like I set a lot of boundaries. Right?
Yeah.
I set a lot of boundaries. When I finish work, my phone is always on do not disturb. I don't answer it if I don't want to. I leave certain messages on seen because I couldn't address everything and everyone because
I can't help it. I can't be everything to everyone.
You need me around, so
Yeah.
I have to reserve something so I can do more the next day.
Yeah.
And so I set boundaries. I'm very I'm the most like I don't know how this journey came of reflection, but I am so reflective. Every moment, every second, I have reflection
Yeah.
in myself. What is going on? What am I doing right now? Why am I doing that? How am I feeling? How am I physically feeling?
Yeah.
You know, and I actually verbalize that too. Like I'll be like, Nyachan, you're feeling overwhelmed today. You need five more minutes in bed.
Yeah.
Or Nyachan, you're feeling overwhelmed. Those dishes needs to wait.
Yeah.
Or today, we can't do that counseling session.
Yeah.
Or Nyachan, you're feeling so good today. Energy, let's use it. Let's get more things done. So I'll have a day where I'm working so hard because I have reassured myself. I've done my reflection and my body, my mind, my emotions tells me I am ready to take it all on. So I take it on.
Today I can be superwoman.
Today I can be superwoman. So I check in with myself. So a lot of reflective, both verbally, but also I write. I write at night, I write in the morning, I write good, bad, whatever. I love writing. I do little activities. I get my nails done, even if they're not old. If I wake up and go, you're feeling flat today.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what can I do? What do I need? What do I need? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? Okay, put my favorite top on, my favorite perfume, go get my nails done.
Yeah.
And I'll sit there and I'm like, this is me looking after me. This is like literally hugging myself. I'll go swimming. I try to eat healthy.
Yeah.
And I have very small circle of friends that I can tell them if I'm not doing well. And then we talk and then I'm like, oh, I'm okay now.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah, it's that thing where it's like 5 minutes with my girlfriends and life feels better again.
It really does, investing in good quality relationships. So yeah, I do that. But it's not all flow and perfect. And I'm doing all this self-reflection. I'm like eating well. I'm sleeping well. Some days I'm just not well.
Yeah.
But I pick myself up.
Yeah.
And so it's about being aware of what's happening for you at that moment and then having a lot of toolbox of different things. So when I'm feeling flat, I get my nails done, I do my hair. When I'm feeling tired, I maybe sleep in a little bit more.
Yeah.
When I'm feeling energetic, I do more work so the dopamine comes back. So it's like being aware of which tools for which. So I have like a toolbox. Just imagine I've got a bag and it's got like different pockets for different areas of my experience for the day.
Yes.
And I just
love that analogy. And I feel like I use it a lot personally. I don't know if I've used it on the podcast, but it's like, it's about, I remember I used it. I can't remember what in the context it was, but it's like sometimes you also need to update your toolbox. Like some things, tools that worked for a season that maybe no longer work anymore, and now we need a new set of tools for this. Like, okay, now I need to upgrade. I need to upgrade my tools.
That's where learning comes. Learning, asking questions, investing in mentors, and just growing with yourself. Like what worked last time, like you said, may not work.
Yeah.
Maybe I need more than just a swim. Maybe I actually need to go to therapy.
Yeah. Maybe I can't swim this in a way. I might bring in the big
but
dogs.
It's not enough. Or I can get my nails done, but it's a superficial. Maybe I need to do more. Maybe I need to have that conversation with that person that upset me.
Yeah.
Why am I feeling flat?
Yeah.
Maybe I need to do less work. Maybe instead of being on 120, maybe I need to make it 108.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
It's a
love
random
it.
number, but you get it.
No,
So it's just like just being flexible and learning from others. So try that too.
I love the vulnerability too, because I think sometimes if you're watching someone from the outside, you feel like, do they ever?
Nah.
Do you ever have a bad day? Like your output is high. You look happy all the time. Like what? No, I love it.
We all have bad days.
Yes.
Life is a season. We have good seasons, then things comes, throw us off the curve, then we get up and we do it again. It is like it is. Life is lifing all the time.
All the time.
All the time. But that's what makes it beautiful because when those good moments come, where you feel the dopamine, when you feel confident, utilize it. Just pump up your pillows. Just be like, I'm feeling good. Like I'm loving this. I'm
the nature, the
the nature.
yeah.
Like I'm loving this conversation. So it's like just capitalizing it and actually verbalizing it when you're enjoying something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love.
Make an imprint of good memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
On that,
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, I'm going to speak for me, but I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of like young girls and young women who like look up to you and it's just like, wow, love the impact that you're having and the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
What is like a piece of advice that you'd be like, have this in your toolbox, keep it in your back pocket? Like,
Yeah. No, that's really good. And, I wish where I was, I had people giving me advice,
Yeah.
One thing I would say to people is like, first believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Believe yourself, right? You're like, you only got yourself all the time.
Yeah.
So believe in yourself, but also do the work.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us have the idea of the women or the men we want to be.
Yeah.
Again, just an idea. How many wonderful ideas I have, none of them came to fruition because if I don't action it,
it's just a nice idea. It stops from being a nice idea.
Exactly. So we have all these beautiful aesthetics, ideas. I'm elegant, I'm this, I'm that. But really do the work. Are you that? What are you doing every day to be that?
Oh, gee.
I was
the accountability. I was like,
I wish I've had that. If someone was like, you wanted to be this. Like I could have started early and I probably would be at a different place. But you live and learn. But just start whatever you believe yourself and whatever you envision who you are or who you desire to be or who inspire to be, start making a small step towards that.
Yeah.
And actually maybe even write them down. Like, okay, if you're
I think we're too good at that. The vision boards are cute. I love it for us guys. The manifesting
of what the day.
But can we
what have you done for the day?
Take the steps
that
towards
woman.
it. Like exactly. To be that girl that you
that girl. What are you doing?
Vision boarded.
You're visioning it, but what are you actually? So did you wake up and make your bed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you say no to that date because it's like it questions your values. Have you saved that money? Did you say that sorry for that conversation that you were wrong in? Were you willing to be like? So like we have to start the work. So if you're young, start the work. Like start being who you want to be with small steps, and you'll see it will like. You'll see yourself 5 years from now. People will be like, I don't know how you did it. It's like, well, I worked towards it every day.
A bit, yeah.
So just start doing the work. Whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, put in the work.
Yeah.
There's no shortcuts.
Yeah.
And even if you have shortcuts, it's not going to be sustainable.
Yeah.
But if you work towards, it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
And it becomes seamless. Start doing the work. Whatever you dream to be, start doing the work.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yes. Amen. You are so inspirational. You need to write a book. But we'll talk about that later. This one I just thought of. So off the cuff, let me know if you want to answer it or don't answer it. What would be something that you would say to children who came as refugees or have parents who are refugees and maybe potentially feel like that puts a ceiling on who or what they're able to be or achieve? And maybe feel like the stigma around the label, that kind of thing. Like, how do you speak to that? Because there's a unique set of problems.
Yeah.
I don't know if problems is even the right word. Barriers that come with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, your background does not to me a label of shame.
Yeah.
If you came as a refugee, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You can't obviously rub it off. If you come from low resources, it is what it is. It wasn't your fault. So accept your background. Don't ever be ashamed of it. But I try not to use it as a limit. Like because I was a refugee, you were a refugee. You're not a refugee now.
Yeah.
You were unsafe. You may be safer now. There's other things that are not so safe. But so it's like what you were and what molded you doesn't have to continue to have so much impact on you negatively, right? And so take the opportunities that are here. There's going to be barriers. There's going to be discriminations. There's going to be, you can't do that. There's going to be comparison. There's going to be someone doing better. But with what you have, the skills you have, the passion you have, the support system you have around you, get to work. Do what you need to do to change that status.
Yeah.
Like we can change the narratives, So there's nothing wrong with being a refugee, but using it as a tool of victimization, where I'm a refugee, that's why the things it's just the way it is. I can't dream because I'm a refugee.
Yeah.
I would say Australia, there's a lot of opportunities. Yes, it's who you know. Yes, it's the work you put in, but there is a lot of opportunity. So we don't want to be playing that victimhood of our past, because there's people still living that life over there that wish to be in this position. So it's a very whole different levels that we're in, and we are in a good place.
Yeah.
So work with what you have, do what you can, and don't be ashamed of your past.
Amen. Because it doesn't define you.
It does not. It does not define you. It shapes
just
you.
your foundation.
Yeah.
Build whatever you want on top of that.
Yes. Dream big.
I am so passionate
Yes.
about doing stuff within the African Australian community.
Oh yes, I love my people.
Right. I have an understanding of what a young migrant community we are, and I feel like we have the privilege of being able to look at what the African migrant community in the UK have done, and what they have done well and what they haven't done so well, and what the African migrant community in America have done and haven't done so well, and we get to learn from them. So I feel like we have the privilege of being able to learn from what they have done that has worked and hasn't worked. Obviously, there's different factors that change that.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're in such a lucky place where we get to look at those and we get to learn from them. And we get to shape what we become as an African migrant community. So I guess my question to you is, what impact do you feel like you are going to have to shape? What impact do you feel you are having to shape that culture and that narrative for us? And I guess NAS recovery as well, as an extension of you, what impact you are hoping it is having on what we're creating here?
Yeah. Well, the first impact we're doing now is reducing stigma and actually having a space where people can come and get help. It's saying it's okay to get help. It's okay to seek help. And I hope that we'll continue to do that, but do more, that we start to build a culture that accepts professional help.
Yeah.
Right? There's this whole thing that no one really talks about, that cultural beliefs and practices overrides professional help.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
that we know mental health exists. We know mental health is, destroys lives, whatever, mental illness. But we're like, but professional help,
We don't want people in our business.
Yes, or they don't know, they can't understand it. So I hope that we can through NAS, we can build a culture that prioritizes mental health, but also accept professional help, and actually understand that you don't have to take away your culture and practices, but you can combine both to have a valuable impact.
Yeah.
Right. And so I want people to still practice your faith, practice your traditional dance and music and all that stuff. But when you are experiencing mental health and you're having consequences of that, like depression, anxiety, or PTSD, seek professional help. And I hope that NAS Recovery Center will be in the space where it is seen as like the one-stop shop that they can come to for addressing those things, that accepting that professional help that is holistic, that is culturally tailored for them. And so my goal would be, as an extension of my compassion and my desire to make a difference, is to ensure that we put systems in and programs that will reach people where they're at. Yeah. So if it's about education and understanding and open dialogue, we should be able to still have that in NAS. Yeah. If it's about treatment and rehabilitation, then we should be able to still get that. If it's about working and giving back into the community, then we should have professionals within the community to come and be part of giving back. Yeah. And so we want to build as many systems that recognize NAS as the leading AOD and mental health service for African Australians in Melbourne. Yeah. And also
I was like, in Australia? What do you mean? In Australia?
Exactly. In Australia.
Put it out there.
But we always, the Bible says, you have to take what's in, in your eye. So we have to start home, because there's a lot of our friends and families and cousins and community members that are struggling. So I want to first meet that need, and then we can go somewhere else. And hopefully that will inspire other places to,
also do the same.
Information travels, and so like lots of people even in America, different places, that know about NAS now and are inspired to for their own journey, but also to make a difference in their own community. Yeah. And so that's the sort of impact we're working towards.
That's really what it's about.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, well, this is the final question. I didn't think we'd get it. It's such an amazing conversation.
Beautiful. This is beautiful.
What is one thing that you believe everyone should know And it can be about anything.
Oh.
Like, it can be about life. It can be I had a fold a fitted sheet. It can be
Oh my goodness, I don't know how to do that
anything.
yet.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, if you're looking for the answer, I'm not giving that. I don't even buy them.
It's so annoying.
Oh God, I'm like climbing and it's like, nah. But yeah.
So yeah, what is one thing you think everyone should know?
Oh wow. There's one thing everybody should know. I think people should know many things about many things. Like for example, I taught myself how to like what's it called, mow the lawn, right?
When you were saying you did that, I said I'm so proud of you.
I did that and I love it. So now I'm like, I'm thinking about side hustle, my neighbors.
Yeah, like I'll cut everyone's grass.
If all hell fails, if I can't like do anything with NAS, I'm like,
be the neighborhood lawn. I love it.
Multi-talented. So I think people you should always challenge yourself. I'm curious. I am a curious person. I love learning new things, new cuisine, new names, new languages. So I don't know one thing in particular because I obviously haven't thought about it that far. But I'm just saying is if you're listening, always be willing to learn something you don't know. And then move on and just keep going. It's so precious to be like, I know how to do this.
A curious person.
Be curious, learn new things. Australia is so diverse. There's so many things we could do. Learn a new cuisine.
Yeah, there's literally so.
Learn how to cook. Chinese food. Learn how to make that. I love.
Oh, my favorite. Asian food is my favorite.
I used to be Italian. I still like Italian. Like Italiano. I love the pizza. Okay.
Yes.
But Asian food. Stir fry. Oh.
No.
Easy. And I love it. Yeah. That's self-taught.
Yay, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
I love this conversation. I love how lighthearted you are, even in the midst of like all the work you do. Like, we had a conversation before this, so we're both not serious. She was like, I don't feel like
like I was like
serious mental health. No, that's not it. That's not what we do here.
In the office, I'm here. I'm just even with my clients, I'm not serious. I'm like, okay, you have addiction. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? How do you want to get out of it? Let's start brainstorming. Because if you're looking, I'm going to sit here and just, let you marinate in your misery. No, I see potential in you. I know there is potential in you. So where do you want to go from here?
And
then we just literally have conversations. They're like, it looks like I really need a job. Like, okay. Where do we start?
Where do we head there?
Do you think you need to like reduce your use before you can work?
So we can help you get a job.
Kind of dangerous. And they're like, yeah, that's true. All right. So do you think maybe you can have 5 days without drinking? Yeah, we can try that.
Yeah.
Or maybe 3 days or whatever within their capacity.
Yeah.
So it's it. I'm never serious. It's just, it's not that deep. Because sometimes when we put too much emphasis on the negative things, it manifests to this big thing. A lot of time we're like, mental health. Oh, mental health. And we're like so scared of it.
People don't want to engage with it.
Yeah, because it seems so big. No, mental health may look like, I just don't want to get out of bed today. I'm feeling frustrated. And so I need boundaries. That work is stressful. I don't see the point of life right now. And so what can I do to see the point of life? So it doesn't have to be this heavy thing. It is heavy when it's unaddressed. But when it's just manifesting into, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to talk to this person. I'm avoiding this place. That's when you're like, okay, I see you. I see you, mental health. You're coming for me. Let's do something.
Somebody.
I love it as that.
You just have so much light. I love this whole conversation.
Thank you.
If people want to find you, it is at NAS Recovery Center on Instagram. And you can just type that into Google as well. It's www.recovery.
NAS. NAS Recovery Center. You know what? I never thought I would have to like say this because I listen to podcasts. I love podcasts and I listen to podcasts and I always listen to the end where they're like, where can people find you? I was like, I can't wait to be like, where can people find me? Well, if you're looking for Nyachan, I go by Miss Nyak. So Nyak, Miss Nyak on Instagram and on LinkedIn it's just Nyachan Nyak. To connect with me and then obviously to connect with the organization.
And if you got money and you like to donate,
come.
They're taking the money.
Oh, come work. Yes,
all come work. Offer your services.
But just come and say hello.
The building is beautiful, state of the art. I love it.
I love it. It
feels peaceful when you get there. I think that's a really.
That's what's called path to home. It's like I want people to feel home. Because life can be so heavy. It's like just come and sit on that couch.
Well, out in front of
have a cup of tea or sit on the know, have a walk around, sit on the benches around it, just let it down. You're in a safe space, no judgment.
Yeah.
We've seen it all before. You're not the only one.
Yeah.
We're all going through it, and together we can get out of it.
Yeah.
So that's why I love the sentence.
Yeah.
I really do. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're done.